Coming up on Wavelength, a new compensation plan for employees is unveiled. LCRA begins a program to give the public more access to the river. Then we'll show you what you can do with those hazardous chemicals around your home. Plus, what did you do last weekend? All that and more next on Wavelength.
From the Lower Colorado River Authority, this is Wavelength.
Hi everybody and welcome to Wavelength. Well, after months of hard work, Human Resources has completed the job evaluation study. You know, this is the first time in over 12 years that a company-wide review of LCRA's classification and compensation plan has ever been conducted. The plan, which has now been endorsed by the consultant, TPF&C, as well as senior management, will now be implemented with this year's performance appraisal. Pat Freeze has more on the plan.
Under the new compensation plan, employees will have more incentives to do good work. And the good news is that all employees, even those at the top of their pay scale, are eligible for merit pay.
Well, I think number one, that no one's frozen. It's difficult to do a compensation plan and to address the issue of what do you do when you're at the top of the grade. For the last several years, we've been giving people, 1% and 2% raises and pushing our whole system up, which pressures the whole system. Now what we're saying is that it's going to be a little bit more performance and merit-based, but even if you're frozen, if you really work hard, your supervisor has a pool of money out of which he or she can give you a pay raise. Now it may be lump sum, or it may not increase your base rate, but you're eligible for a raise.
The study looked at all three groups of employees: P&M, craft and field, and administrative. The results show that only about 136 employees are paid below the minimum rate of pay for their jobs. But the study also revealed 487 employees who are paid more than the market rate.
The employees that are below the new minimum of their new pay grade will be brought up to that minimum in January. The employees that are at or above the job rate will not be frozen. In fact, they'll continue to be eligible for merit awards.
Probably the most innovative concept of the new plan is the way merit raises are handled. LCRA will move to a variable compensation system, which gives managers a number of different ways to reward employees.
Two of the new types of compensation concepts that we're about to introduce to employees are gain sharing, where employees can be rewarded for helping LCRA save money, and secondly will be a merit pool whereby managers and supervisors will be empowered to make some decisions about the performance of their employees and reward them accordingly.
And for the first time ever, performance evaluations for craft and field and administrative employees will be handled differently than P&M employees. P&M will remain on a performance-based pay scale, while others will move to a new step system.
In the past, the compensation program that was in place did not allow for craft and field or administrative workers to ever realize in their base pay a market rate of pay. They would receive increases, but those increases would not keep up with the structure adjustments, and therefore it could take 10, 15 years before an employee would ever actually realize an average rate of pay for that job that's related to the market. With the new step plan that we're about to introduce, over a 5-year period of time, an employee will actually realize a market rate of pay for their job.
Employees who disagree with their ranking within the new system do have the right to appeal.
As far as the classification system is, yes, there will be a set appeals process that we go through, and those will all ultimately come to me and be decided by me, so that it won't be a question of somebody who directly supervises you having the final say. But I think a lot of those kind of issues, frankly, can and will be worked out along the way.
Managers are now in the process of communicating the results of this plan to their employees, and each employee should know their individual classification by the end of November. If you have any questions, you can call this special hotline number for more information.
This past month, LCRA participated in 2 ceremonial events which were the culmination of a tremendous amount of cooperation and work between several different governmental entities. Now, both of these events signal the beginnings of projects which will have a tremendous positive effect on the water quality of the Colorado River.
1, 2, 3.
With that turn of the shovel, construction began on LCRA's Camp Swift Regional Wastewater Treatment Facility in Bastrop County. The project is being funded by the federal prison, the Army National Guard, Bastrop County, and LCRA. The prison, which has over 100 beds available, cannot accept any new inmates because its on-site sewage treatment plant is operating at capacity. The new facility will eliminate that problem. Many homes and businesses in the area were hooked up to this old Camp Swift wastewater plant, which has been shut down since the end of World War II. After heavy rains, the untreated sewage often flows into nearby creeks and onto the river. Many other homes and businesses in the area have inadequate septic systems.
Subdividers came in here and split up small lots that really wouldn't handle on-site systems. We had a lot of people out here that couldn't use their property or their systems didn't work right. So what this does is give folks in this part of Bastrop County at least an alternative, and it makes their land worth more, and it gives them a way to build a home and to have all of the services that you need for good quality of life, to have them available to them. And I think it's going to really invigorate this area and revitalize it.
The new facility will have a capacity of 350,000 gallons per day, which can serve about 2,000 people. All of the treated effluent will be used to irrigate this farmland. None will be discharged into the river.
This project is important for 2 reasons. One, it's the first time LCRA has ever tried to do something like this, which is significant, and we've made a real institutional commitment to do it, and we intend to do it well, and we intend for this to be a model project. And it's also important for Bastrop County, because this is what makes economic development all happen.
Congressman Jake Pickle played a key role in making this regional plant a reality.
So all up and down the Colorado, this project can be the role model of all other kind of wastewater systems, because we have tied together the county and the federal government, the state, the Guard, and the local water system. It's a perfect setup, and though it wasn't easy, we have worked together.
The plant is scheduled to go online in May of 1992.
You know, almost everyone has chemicals laying around the house, the pesticides, the cleansers, and of course the motor oil. In fact, the Environmental Protection Agency estimates that the average American household generates 20 pounds of toxic waste each year. But now, thanks in part to LCRA, there's a safe and convenient way to get rid of these dangerous chemicals. This is LCRA's latest weapon against water pollution. It's a hazardous waste collection site where people can unload old paint, chemicals, and oil free of charge. LCRA helped pay for the facility, which will be operated by the City of Austin. It is the first permanent collection site in Texas.
I hear myself over and over saying to others across the state that if we could just get the cities around this state to do what the City of Austin is doing in terms of environmental protection and water quality, and all of the river authorities to do those things that LCRA is doing, we would make certain that in this state we would have a cleaner environment for our future and for our children's sake.
Household chemicals can have a dramatic impact on water quality. If they are poured down a drain or even worse in the street, they can contaminate ground and surface water. That's why getting people to properly dispose of chemicals is a high priority for the agency.
Much of the concern, particularly for the lower basin, is old and unused agricultural pesticides. And we're working at with the Water Commission and ourselves in trying to provide those farmers an opportunity to bring those products in that they've been storing and really don't have any way to dispose of them.
The Austin collection site will be open 6 Saturdays each year. For exact dates and times, call the City Environmental Department at 499-2550. The beautifully restored Stafford Opry House in downtown Columbus, Texas was the site of LCRA's October board meeting. This historic community opened its doors to LCRA as part of the New World Weekend.
Fire!
These festivities begin a year-long celebration of the 500th anniversary of Christopher Columbus' voyage to the New World. LCRA joined with Colorado County officials to dedicate this 24-acre park site at Beeson's Crossing on the Colorado River.
This is the first joint venture between LCRA and Colorado County and a recreational effort. We're very proud of this, and I'm very happy that it provides a link in the river access and river awareness that the public may enjoy.
This is also the first official site of LCRA's new Colorado River Trail, which will tie the 10-county district together by creating an access trail of recreational, cultural, historical, and environmental resources along the river, from San Saba County to the Gulf.
Somehow, somewhere, for whatever reason, throughout the last 70 or 80 years, every one of our communities turned our backs on our river and literally walked away from that river and developed away from that river. And we've used that river from everything for dumping trash to sewage effluent to anything but recognizing our river as an important part of our life. We intend at LCRA to turn that trend around, and we'll do that by everybody working together.
Colorado County will now develop the site as a multi-use public park. LCRA hopes to add 5 more parks to the Colorado River Trail by the end of this year.
LCRA staff and board members were also on hand at the Brahmin Council Boy Scouts Fall Jamboree held near Columbus. They came to honor Troop 368 from El Campo for their work in cleaning up the Colorado River.
You're living up to your motto, which is be prepared, because you're preparing our natural resources in this area for your own recreational use as well as those for future generations, and we want to commend you for being such good scouts.
The Scouts also received these T-shirts featuring LCRA's new anti-litter motto.
Not in our river, brother! All right.
If your organization is interested in holding a river cleanup and receiving T-shirts, call Chuck Dvorsky at 473-3372.
High technology is catching up with LCRA's Hydro Division. For the last year, technicians have been installing a series of sophisticated computers which will allow all of LCRA's dams to be controlled from one central computer located at Wirtz Dam.
Well, you've seen what I did then, just pressing or actually selecting a megawatt set point and telling the computer to start the generator. Before we had to run, to manually do everything, turn on water, turn on oil, turn on different pumps, used to take 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes just to set one unit up to where we could run the generator.
The remote system will allow the hydro units to run more efficiently and should actually extend the life of the generators. All of the work, including design and installation, was done by LCRA employees.
The 1991 LCRA annual report is fresh off the press and ready for distribution. About 6,000 copies were printed this year, and they will be sent to financial houses, government officials, environmental groups, and every LCRA employee will receive one through interoffice mail.
Smithville, Texas is home to LCRA's rail fleet maintenance facility. These crews service and repair some 1,500 coal cars every year. And just across the tracks, downtown Smithville is also buzzing with activity these days. Installation continues on these antique-style lighting fixtures, which will run the entire length of Main Street. Each light was sponsored by a business or family and includes a plaque honoring the donor. At one end of Main Street, city crews are working on an overlooked park which will feature a great view of the Colorado River, while back down Main Street to the tracks is Smithville's new Railroad Museum and Park. This facility was built as a tribute to the train, which has been such an integral part of this town's history. LCRA has recently teamed up with the city to buy this 50 acres on the banks of the Colorado River, which will be developed as a municipal park. Because of all this planning and effort, the city of Smithville has won the 1991 Governor's Community Achievement Award.
The citizens in this community are excited and enthusiastic. They're volunteering to do a lot of things. A lot of things that we do here are paid by the citizens. Little towns, as you know, small communities do not have the necessary financing to do all the things that you want to do. Our people pitch in and take a part in the development of our community. We're proud of what our citizens do here, and we're proud of the effort that LCRA gives us too.
Mayor Richards says they also have some big Christmas surprises planned this year in Smithville. This month on Profile, we'll take a look at a program in the Land Resources Division designed to help prevent non-point source pollution. It's called the Creekside Conservation Program. The goal? To stop soil erosion at its source. This has been an unusually wet year. Rainfall amounts are a foot above normal in central Texas. This certainly helps keep the lake levels up, but it also emphasizes a serious problem in the area: soil erosion. In this 1990 study done for LCRA by the Soil Conservation Service, the most critical areas of soil erosion in the watershed are pinpointed, and ways to deal with the problem are suggested. LCRA has responded by joining forces with the SCS and area landowners to develop the Creekside Conservation Program.
I think it's a good, workable program with the three different entities, LCRA providing the funds, Soil Conservation Service providing the technical assistance and guidance to the landowner, and the landowner, he's also applying a portion of his own funds in this, which in most cases the interest is there anyway, and the landowner just didn't have the financial ability to carry out some of these more expensive practices.
Under the Creekside program, an independent contractor is hired by the landowner with LCRA sharing the cost. Here on the PM Ranch in Llano County, the prescribed treatment to control erosion is to reshape critical gullies, root plow pasture land, and then sprig the area with coastal grasses. The results? Grass production went from 270 pounds per acre to 5,000 pounds per acre. And of course, the soil is staying where it is wanted. Wallace Klusman has been ranching here in Llano County for about 25 years. This 2-acre sediment retention pond was recently constructed on his ranch with help from the Creekside Conservation Program.
Well, we had a big dry creek coming out of this about 120-acre pasture here that carried quite a bit of water. And of course, when you carry water, you carry silt and everything with it. And of course, if you put a dam across the creek, that's 100% stoppage of the movement of that silt till the pond fills up. So there's no shades of gray. It does its job and does it completely.
The LCRA 10-county statutory district is the primary focus of our conservation efforts. Currently, the program is operating very successfully in San Saba, Llano, and Blanco counties.
It's more cost-effective to manage the sediment up on the watershed where the erosion occurs and happens that generates the sediment than trying to control it, remove it from the reservoirs once it has been deposited. We're focusing our attention up on the watershed and working with the landowners to make the land more productive while at the same time managing the erosion that produces the sediment in the first place.
The Creekside Conservation Program is one more tool LCRA is using to fight non-point source pollution in the Colorado River watershed.
That's it for this edition of Wavelength. Thanks for being with us. Join Pat Freese and Richard Gaylord next month. I'll be at the Texas Water Commission, but I've enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Well, Eddie, we've come to a fork in the road, and you've decided to take a different path. You've taught us a lot, and we'll miss you. You've left us some big shoes to fill, but somehow we'll manage.